Joining us right now is Dr. Mark McLellan. He's with the Duke School of Business. He's a professor there. Of course, he's also the former commissioner of the FDA. And Doctor, thank you for being with us this morning.
Becky, good to be with you.
What Rahel just said, this idea that there are 0 new cases that originated in China as of today for the first time, how significant is that?
It's significant. It shows that with extreme but important steps, non-medical steps to control the spread of the virus, it can make a real difference. China is different from the United States, but other countries, including Singapore and Korea, have also made progress. The kinds of steps that we've implemented in recent days approach the kinds of non-medical social distancing, isolation steps that have made a real difference in some of these other places.
You know, your head kind of gets turned and flipped in different directions every day. Yesterday, Singapore actually announced that it had new cases. I saw a couple other countries that did as well, and that was very concerning. So you go from the super concern to, okay, maybe it's better news in China. How do you read through this?
Well, it is concerning. There will be more cases, especially here in the United States. As you just said, there's a lot more testing going on here. That's really important to get a handle on just how much exposure we have in different places around the country. So the number of cases is going to go up significantly here. You will see blips in cases in other places around the world too, like Singapore, but that is good when it's a sign you've got great testing in place and the capacity to do immediate follow-up. The other thing that I would be watching, besides the increasing number of cases around the United States in the coming days, is the increased number of hospitalizations and serious cases. That's a marker of just how well we're controlling the underlying incidence of the virus in this country, and hopefully the steps that we're taking now are going to show some slowing in the growth of those cases in the coming days in many parts of the country.
When do you think this will peak?
Without the denominator.
Go ahead.
I wouldn't make a comment at this point about when exactly it will peak. It depends on what we continue to do. So more diagnostic testing, more steps towards more steps like the ones we're taking now around physical distancing and social isolation. It's really hard, but I think we'll be able to see how much impact that's having in the coming days to next few weeks. Behind that, we've really got to accelerate our efforts to develop treatments, since that's what's ultimately going to get this virus under complete control.
So, Dr. McLellan, because we don't have a denominator and because we're late on testing and we're trying to figure out the denominator, that hospital anecdotal evidence from emergency rooms or from ICUs is a big deal for us to know. Can we take any? I mean, I would hope that since we haven't seen just the huge influx that we're worried about, I'd like to take that as a positive. But what if a lot of people are asymptomatic or just minor symptoms and they're not even self-quarantining? Then I don't feel quite I don't feel quite as optimistic. Go ahead.
Exactly. And that's why the steps you were describing earlier about millennials, about others taking steps to socially distance, to follow the recommendations from the Surgeon General and others in government is really important right now. So how well we do with those steps is going to determine whether we can slow down the overall incidence of cases and slow down the number of serious cases, which are going to show up in hospitals and emergency rooms. That's what we've got to really watch in the coming days.
My big millennial fans are angry that we're saying it's the millennials down in Florida. It's the Generation Z, I think is what they're called. They're the spring breakers. So maybe the millennials are getting a bad rap. They're self-quarantining in their parents' basement, I'm told. So.
Well, it's really all Americans that have to take these steps together. We're all in our cities, our towns, our neighborhoods together. So what we do together really matters. I've seen lots of positive examples as well. People following the social distancing rules, helping each other out, connecting. That's really important in the next few days.
Dr. McLellan, very quickly, General Motors CEO Mary Barra offered to start making ventilators in the factories there that aren't being used to produce cars right now. Good idea?
Good idea to explore. Now is a time to think about the surge capacity. That includes ventilators, but it also includes telemedicine. So for people with less severe conditions, getting treated outside of the hospital, and maybe looking at other options like unoccupied hotels for more intermediate cases, people who do need monitoring and support, but maybe not hospital or ventilator level care.